So do you want to start a career in cybersecurity? Do you want to start fast and affordably? I'm going to show you a step-by-step roadmap that you can follow starting in the next 24 hours to start breaking into cybersecurity without spending a ton of money. You don't have to follow the traditional pathway into cyber. Getting a degree and certification, spending over $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 trying to break into the industry. The first thing I'm going to recommend that you do to start your career in cybersecurity is to get into cybersecurity. And what do I mean by this? I mean start immersing yourself in the industry. There is a lot of technical jargon. There's a lot of baseline knowledge that you have to understand what is happening in cybersecurity. So keeping up with cybersecurity news can really help you start your cybersecurity career. There's a couple podcasts that I would recommend that give you cybersecurity news on a day-by-day basis. The CyberWire Daily and Cybersecurity Headlines by the CISO series. Both of these podcasts give daily rundowns of what has happened in the cyberspace in the last 24 hours. They're very short, 8-10 minutes long. You can easily listen to them while you're commuting, while you're working, while you're getting ready in the morning. And you're going to start learning industry jargon. You're going to learn about common threats. You're going to see patterns and overall what's happening in the industry. Then when you get to an interview and you're asked the question that is often asked, name a data breach that's happened in the last year that you found interesting, it's going to be no problem. Or if during the interview they ask you to name a APT group, you probably will have heard of one listening to those podcasts. Similarly, sign up for some newsletters, things like Hacker News, or any of the newsletters that share information about emerging cyber threats on Twitter, email list. There's several routes to do this, and I'll give links to some very useful ones in the companion guide for the video. Once you've immersed yourself in the industry, you need to make sure you have a baseline IT knowledge. Here's the thing, you have to know about computers to be able to secure computers. You have to know what computers are, a little bit of how they work, a little bit about networks, the subject material from something like the CompTIA A+, or the CompTIA Network Plus, those basic networking, that basic computer knowledge is something you need to know. You don't have to go take the certification, but use the objectives as an outline of what to study, or go on YouTube and find some of the courses. Again, I'll give you links in the descriptions for some great courses on A+ material or Network Plus material. But you have to have that baseline in IT so you know at least what's being talked about. You don't have to be proficient in computers. You don't have to be a computer whiz, and you don't have to be a programmer. But you do have to know what a computer is, how it works, so that you know what you're securing in the future. And that brings us to certifications. There are a lot of voices in the industry. Certifications are needed, certifications aren't needed, but are they? Here's what I will say. Of all the hiring managers I've talked to, they all say they focus on experience more than certifications or degree. In the absence of experience, then they start digging more into certifications and degrees. But when it comes to HR, a lot of times they have automated filters that do look for certifications, and they filter out applications based on those who have certifications. So, getting a couple of certifications isn't a bad idea. There are a few free certifications you can get. ISE Squared has the Certify in Cybersecurity. It's a very entry-level cybersecurity certification, but if you qualify, you can apply for a scholarship and you can take that certification for free. The Google Cybersecurity certification is another relatively new certification. It's hosted through Coursera, and you do have to pay a monthly fee to have access to the Coursera platform, but if you dedicate yourself, you could get that done in a couple months without spending more than $100, $200, and you can get that certification. Another great entry-level certification is the SSCP, or the System Security Certified Practitioner Certification by ISE Squared. Now, if you are completely new to IT, completely new to the industry, there is an experience requirement, and you might have to sit the test and have a tentative certification until you have that experience level, at which time you can go back, reapply, and they will upgrade you to the full certification. Now, some other low-cost certifications come from Microsoft, AWS. They all have their own certifications. Some of those run around $150. It's kind of up to you to figure out what job you're going for, which certifications might be helpful to get you past those HR filters and to get your foot in the door. Now, I took a random sampling of cybersecurity entry-level jobs off of the internet that I found, and I analyzed them to figure out what certifications are they asking for the most. And here's what I found. Number one was Security Plus. A lot of people are going to tell you Security Plus is useless, but If you're new, there's a lot of knowledge in there that you do need to understand. Again, hiring managers are looking for experience. They don't care that you can detail what a VPN is. They want to know, do you know how to set it up? Do you know how it works? Do you know what problems could arise? What are some vulnerabilities that could be introduced from a VPN? But there is a lot of knowledge in there that you do need to have. And it's one of the most commonly requested certifications on job listings. So that might be a consideration. Whether you get this cert or not, you should go through the material and make sure that you know everything on there, because that, again, that's a baseline cyber knowledge that everyone in cybersecurity needs to have. This next commonly most requested certifications on these jobs was the ISC Square SSCP. And the third most common, interestingly, was Microsoft's Azure Security Engineer certification. This is probably because a lot of organizations are moving to the cloud and they need people with cloud credentials and cloud experience. Now, something a lot of people don't understand about getting into cybersecurity is that there are a lot of job focuses that you can have in cybersecurity. Most people think cybersecurity and they think hackers, hardcore programmers, but that's not the case. We actually have three broad fields in cybersecurity. We have the red team, this is offensive security. We have the blue team, which is defensive security. And we have the yellow team focused on engineering security. Then between each of these, we have this kind of crossover section. We have the purple team, which is a combination of blue team and red team. They integrate defensive tactics with offensive security. Things like running vulnerability scans, vulnerability management. We have an orange team. This is a cross between the red team, the hackers, and the engineers. They might be doing things like engineering security awareness training programs, training employees how not to fall for cyber attacks. Then there's a green team. This is that cross between the defense and the engineering. They're typically focused on enhancing security automation, things like SOAR and SIM, and automating playbooks. Those are tasks that would fall under green team a lot of times. And within each of these colors, if you will, there are a ton of job titles. Again, I'll list some of those in the companion guide so you can get an idea of what these job titles are, what they do on a daily basis, and maybe which approach is right for you. And then at the middle, there's the white team. This is management, compliance, things of that nature. And you often hear that you have to be technical to be in IT. That's not true. White team, management, these are usually the least technical people. Again, they need that baseline knowledge we talked about, something like a security plus. They need to know those things, but they don't have to be technical to do their job. They manage the projects. They manage the budget for security. Maybe that's the role for you if you don't feel you're a more technical person. So there are a wide variety of career choices in cybersecurity. You have to figure out which role do you think is best for you. As you progress and you maybe start studying for certifications, training is going to be key. Training and practice, that is. As I've said, hiring managers often look for experience more so than certifications or a degree. I once heard someone say, you need to build a public body of work. And I think this is very, very applicable to anyone trying to get into cybersecurity. Do you have a public body of work that you've created that you can point to and say, this is what I've done? Things like a blog. Maybe you set up a home lab, you run through security scenarios, you use open source firewalls, some of these open source tools that you can actually get some practice. Again, check out the companion guide for links to some of these. And you have this home lab and you have the blog and you write articles about what you're doing. Maybe you have a YouTube channel and you make videos about what you're learning. Maybe you have a GitHub repository where you work on projects. This is a public body of work that you can link to in your resume. And when you send this to people, you can point out the things you're doing, the hands-on experience you have. The cloud, that's another great thing to add to your body of work. You can get free trials up to 1 year periods on AWS, on Azure, and you can use these credits to set up machines, set up infrastructure, practice security in the cloud. There are a ton of training options available, free, paid, and everything in between. There's a ton of YouTube videos. The Cyber Mentor, he usually focuses on ethical hacking. And that's something I think no matter which field you're going into in cybersecurity, you should start with, after that baseline knowledge step, you should look into ethical hacking, because ethical hacking is going to show you what the bad guys are doing so that no matter which area, red, blue, green, etc., you get into, you know how to defend. It might not be the career for you, and it's not for everyone. Everyone can't be hackers. But having that understanding of what hackers do is going to tremendously boost you in being able to defend. Then there's Professor Messer. He has networking and some IT videos. He has a Security Plus video series. Those are great courses to watch. Microsoft Virtual Academy, they have a ton of resources in there, scripting and PowerShell and Microsoft focused security. Harvard University has a few free courses you can watch, as well as edX, the Cisco Network Academy, Blue Team Labs online. There's Range Force where you can actually practice. There are a ton of them. One of my favorites is Try Hack Me. And the thing I like about Try Hack Me is you get a lot of hands-on experience. It is a subscription to get access to everything. It's very affordable, and it's one place I would say you should spend some money. Start at the beginner level and work your way through this. Do as much hands-on as you can so that you get that experience. They have a bunch of labs you can play with. It's more than just hacking. I love their approach, how they teach you a little, let you practice a little, teach you a little, let you practice. It's a great approach in my opinion. A lab. You've got to have a lab. There's different ways to go about it, whether you set it up in the cloud or whether you set it up at your home. You need a lab to be able to practice. There are a lot of open source security tools, pfSense firewalls. Sophos has a free firewall version. There's some free antivirus. Use those in your home lab to, again, enhance your skills. Maybe that's something you'll write about on a blog or you make videos about. And that's your body of work that you can take to your interviews. One final thing I want to address, programming. Do you need to know programming to be in cybersecurity? The simple answer is no, you don't. But will it help you? Yes, it will. Knowing just a little bit about programming, having a basic knowledge of programming and scripting, PowerShell, Linux Bash, Python is a great language to learn. Knowing that just a little bit can give you an edge over other people when you do start applying. Programming can seem daunting, but once you get your head around those core concepts, it's actually pretty simple. And it could be something that differentiates you from another applicant and gives you that dream job. You don't need to be an expert, but understand it. Know a little bit about it and know how to start and look up and Google the rest. Now, a few final parting thoughts. Don't necessarily obsess over cybersecurity. Maybe it's easier for you to get a job in IT and use that to pivot to cybersecurity, especially if you're coming from a completely different industry that's not tech focused. That being said, you might have experience that is tangential and could help you. What if you sold phones at the mall? You know a lot about mobile devices. You can harness that knowledge, put that somehow into your body of public work, and use that to your advantage in your application process. Maybe a path to cybersecurity through IT is the way to go. A lot of people find that to be an easier route than jumping straight into cybersecurity because the people who are on the hiring end, they're looking for people with experience. The less they have to train that person, the better return on their investment they get in the hiring process. And finally, interviewers are going to focus on experience over book memory. Certifications are great, don't get me wrong, and they can help you get in the door, cybersecurity. And there are a lot of resources to help you along the way. Go get the companion guide from the link in the description, and it will help you clarify your path into cybersecurity with lots of resources, ideas, links to some of these open source tools that you can start using to get into cybersecurity today.